Okay, I can start the session. Over to Dikshna.
My
Dikshna.
warmest greetings to everyone attending the session. Welcome to Google Developer Student Club, Sri Krishna College of Technology. Myself, I'm Deekshana C, given the role of Tech Makers in the Google Developer Student Club of our college. Today's session is about Android Study Jam. Android Study Jam program is designed for a group of people in the community to come together to learn how to build Android apps. There will be 3 Android Study Jam sessions conducted. I'm glad to call upon the speaker of today's session, Kritik, an Android facilitator in Google Developer Student Club, Sri Krishna College of Technology. Now, I'm handing over the session to Kritik.
Good morning, everyone. I'm pretty glad to meet you all in this beautiful session. And let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Kritik R from CSC department, and I'm currently the Android lead for SKCT GDSC club. And today in this beautiful session, I'm going to introduce you to the Android study jams and as well as take you through the basics of Kotlin. So without any further ado, let's get started in this wonderful session. So let's go. So first, let me briefly explain what is an Android study jam. So basically, Android study jams are community organized study groups. So we form a group together to learn stuff. So that's the basic concept of Android study jams. So actually, this study jams is organized by Google, and they also provide you the curriculum to study. So at the end of the session, we will be showing you how to get official Google developers badges and certificates, which will be very helpful when you add it in your resume. So let's go. The next is I'm gonna tell you about the importance of mobile application. So let us imagine that your favorite platform exists only as a website. The question is, would it be used as extensively as a mobile application? The answer is, for the most applications, the answer will be no, because mobile apps provide better user experience, load content a lot faster, and they are easier to use. Besides, the portability of mobile devices is unmatched to that of websites and computers. Unlike websites, they also have push notifications, which is very pretty useful. And the design of mobile apps is designed in such a way that it can fit any screen size very easily and elegantly. So let me quickly glance the mobile ecosystem and the industry trends. As you know, now we are using mobile phones a lot, especially for Google Meets, classrooms, and everything. Our whole education is taken through online right now, but now we have offline classes. But before we did online stuff. So mostly the COVID-19 had a pretty large impact on the mobile industry, as Indian market everybody cannot afford a laptop to study. So most of the people used smartphones to do their learning. So smartphone users in India are expected to reach over 760 million by the end of 2021, which is a huge number. It's going to greatly benefit for all the Android developers, because it's going to provide a great future for developing new apps. So, and also India is a mobile first market. That is, mobiles are the first source of information transfer, then comes the laptop and other stuff. So yeah. So yeah, let me talk about why we choose Android. Like, so the first thing with Android is very popular. It's one of the most used operating systems for smartphones and other such similar devices. We can see the global active devices of 2.5 billion, which is a large percent of the population. And then the thing is, there are more than 116 billion downloads over the last year. This is a pretty huge number. As you know, billion is a very large number. The number of downloads is pretty high. So today we are going to learn about the basics of Kotlin, which is a programming language which is used for many applications. So let me formally introduce it. So Kotlin is a cross-platform statistically typed general purpose programming language. So basically what it means is Kotlin is a cross platform. It can be used in either for developing web applications, mobile applications, server side, and a lot of stuff. And it is statistically typed, and it's a general purpose programming language. That means you can use this Kotlin as a base and use it for any purpose. That's the thing. And let me give a quick history of Kotlin. So Kotlin was introduced by JetBrains. If you don't know JetBrains, they are an IDE developers and software developing company. They provide you with the IDEs and software development kits. They was the one who to introduce Kotlin in 2011. And then the major breakthrough in Kotlin was at 2017, where at Google I/O, which is a meet Google organizes every year. Google announced first-class support for Kotlin on Android and announced Kotlin as an official language for Android development, which opened a lot of new developers to learn Kotlin and use Kotlin. So more than the language itself, there are pretty huge advantages to Kotlin which other languages do not have, like Java. So let me show you the advantages of Kotlin. So like in 2020, as you know, Stack Overflow, they are a forum website. They conducted like what to say, a survey, which language is the popular or something like that. And the results turned out to be Kotlin was 62.9% preferred by the developers due to its ease of use and its versatility. And the Kotlin also have a lot of tricks up its sleeve, which other languages do not have. So basically, the architecture of an Kotlin is very similar to Java. So Java classes and other stuff works hand to hand in also Kotlin projects. So it is a pretty Java has, as you know, Java has a very large file base and a large predefined libraries which can easily use in Kotlin projects also. And Google make Kotlin as their first preference for developing apps. And as Google made this as a first preference, more than 60% of the Android developers used Kotlin, as well as if you compare a Kotlin code with a Java, due to its new syntax and its improved syntax, you can see that 30% decrease in the code, which provides you a large productivity gain in terms of market value. So that a lot of companies switch to Kotlin due to its advantage. So yeah, that was my small introduction to Kotlin. Now we are heading towards to the basics. So Kotlin has these basics basically. So the first one is the program structure. And I'm going to take you through variables, and then I'm going to take you through control flow, then loops, and then functions. Then we can also see classes, which is a concept of oops. Yeah, let's go. So the first one, so main function. As you know, Kotlin is a programming language that combines OOPS, that is object-oriented programming, and functional features into a unique platform. So every Kotlin program starts with the main function. So main function is also known as the entry point of a Kotlin application. What it means that the execution only starts after the main, what is inside the main function. So it is that is the main role of main function. So let us go into the variables in Kotlin. So in Kotlin, Kotlin provides two types of variables. One is var, which is mutable. That means var can take any values and it can change. That is, var is a mutable value, which means that you can change its value anytime you want. But val, it's not. When you use val, you cannot change the value. It's a permanent fixed value. So that's it. So in the down below, I have given the declaration for a variable. So this is the basic syntax. First thing is you use the keyword var. So this var it depicts what you want, a mutable value or an immutable value. So then you go down and provide your variable name and then your data type of your of your variable, and then followed by equal to, and then the value of the variable. This is the basic syntax of variables. So let me take you through. Let me go to an online compiler known as Kotlin Playground. It is actually provided by Kotlin itself for you to learn. So if you want to do the same, you can hop on to your browser and then search for Kotlin Playground, and you will get this screen. So yeah, so this is how the Kotlin Playground looks like. It's just an online compiler which you can compile Kotlin code. So this is the basic syntax. As I said, the fun keyword stands for function. So as you know, Kotlin is a function-based programming language. So each and every code is made up of functions and classes and objects. So function plays a major part. The main function is the entry point, that is, the code starts executing right at the main function. So in this simple program, I have written a statement, which is a printing statement. As you know, this states print ln and inside the brackets hello world. So if I run the program, it's going to simply say hello world. So this is the basic syntax for printing and string. So we have passed a string as an argument, that is hello world. So let me say there are also two types of print statements in Kotlin. So if you specify as print ln, it's going to print the statement you have provided and get to the next line. But if you just provide just print, it's not going to move to the next line. Instead, it will leave the cursor as the same line it was. So let me just simply do that. World, and let me execute it. Now you can see that the cursor did not go down and the hello world was printed in a line. So let me change the code quickly. So if I put ln at the end of a print statement, it's going to provide the new line. So let me run it. So now you can see that the world it's printing on the next line because the previous line print statement has change the cursor into the next one. So these are the basics of printing. So let me also show you how to print integer, a number value. So it's the same statement, and inside the brackets you need not declare them in a double quotes. You just simply go and declare them like integer value, and it's gonna easily print for you. So let us say you need to print an integer and a string in the same statement. So what you do? It's also pretty easy in Kotlin. So the first thing you want to do is basically print. One second. So you basically pass the print statement, and inside the quotes, you pass whatever string value you need to do. I'm taking an example as for my phone number. The next thing you do is add an plus symbol. So this plus symbol, it's going to help you concatenate the two values inside the print statement. So if you want to print a string and an integer or mix up different data values, use plus. So let me add a random number to show that it's an integer, and then let me run it. So okay, now it provides an output of my phone is the integer value we specified. So this is the printing basics of of Kotlin. So yeah, so now we are moving down into variables and data types. As you know, variables are actually variables are like boxes. They are used to store values which you give a name. So as I said before, Kotlin provides you two types of variables. One is an val and another one is an bar. So let me simply initialize a simple variable called x, and after the colon you have to put the data type of the variable. So that I'm initializing it as 20, and let me quickly 20, and let me quickly print it. I can see the value of x is printed. So you can see the basic syntax of a variable. First, you do the keyword var, var or val, depending on your requirement, and then the variable name. It can be anything you want, and then colon, and then the data type of the variable. Here I have given 20, which is of an integer data type. So if you want to provide a double or other data types, you can provide the specific data type. And the next statement, I have printed the value of x, and it has simply printed. So another thing you have to note is when you want to print the value of a variable inside the print statement, you should just simply put the x, not inside the double quote. So if you put anything in double quotes, it's going to simply take it as an string and it's going to return the same value. So I'll see if I put it in double quotes, it's going to show me just x and then warning. Okay, so never use that. So yeah, this is the basics. So let me also do an val, which is y. I'm also it's going to be also integer. So I'm going to assign the value as 30. Print y. So oh, sorry. Now you can see that it also prints the value of y. So why I change the thing is, see, as I told before, var can be changed. The value of var can be changed anywhere inside the program. So let me try to change it. For changing a variable value, just put the variable name and put an equal to sign and the updated value. So let me update the value of x into 50, and then print x, print x. So as you can see, the value has been updated to 50, and then the value of x has been printed as 50. But if I try to do the same with the y variable, which we have declared as an val, which is an immutable, the thing is you cannot change the value. So let me just simply do 60. Y, as you know, it's going to throw an error, which is pretty simple. Val cannot be reassigned. So if you are going to change your values of your variable, use var. If you're not, then use var. So yeah, that's the basics of variables in Kotlin. So let me also discuss the different data types that you get with Kotlin. So first one is an standard integer. So as you know, integers do not contain decimal values. It's just a plain number. You can keep whatever the number be. Let the number be like something like that. This So yeah, this is the integer data type. So let us go to the next data type. The next data type is double. So double is basically used to store floating digit numbers, the two long floating digits. So the thing is, you can declare decimal values for your variables. So let me provide an example. So then the next data type is float, which is pretty similar to double, but you cannot store such large number in float. Float, same decimal value you can do. And the next data type is, it's going to be long. So long, which is basically number. You can store really long numbers with this data type. And the next one is short, which is consumes less memory, and then you can store small values in it. So that's the point of short data type. And the next one is byte. Byte just stores a single value, 0 or 1, I think so. So let me just do E. I'm going to initialize to 1. So these are the basic data types. Besides this, there are also derived data types. These are the primary ones that Kotlin uses. So let me just quickly print all these stuff so that you can see. See, now I'm using the stuff I told you before. So if you want to print a string along with the variable, you have to use the plus. You want to use plus operator and provide the variable name. And just copy paste in value. The value. Float. Long. Short. It's going to be S and then B. It's going to be a byte value. So So see, as you saw, it's going to print all the different data types in here. So these are the basic data types which Kotlin provides. So yeah. So after this, we are going to see some conditional statements. Sorry. Yeah. So now we are going to see the control flow in Kotlin. So control flow is the stuff which you can change the direction of the code. So simply put, if you use this control flow, you can change the direction of code. So the first thing in control flow is if-else statements. So the if-else statements executes a block of code if a specified condition is true. It's as simple as that. If the provided condition is true, it's gonna use this block of code. If not, it's gonna use this block of code. So this is the basics of an if-else statement. So let me use it in the playground. So yeah. So I'm going to declare a variable called a, which stores an integer value of 10. Of 10. So let me put a very simple if statement. So what you need, the syntax in Kotlin is keyword if followed by brackets. Inside the bracket, you have to declare the condition which you need to apply in this if else statement. So I'm gonna apply if the number is greater than 5, and the basic syntax is that you have to open curly braces, and inside the curly braces you have to place the code which have to be executed when the condition is met. So let me just simply do a print statement here. Print condition passed. Now to the else statement. So else statement also has the same syntax. Instead, we do not have a condition because we have declared the condition inside the if statement. So the if statement condition fails, the else statement condition works. So inside the curly braces, you can print that the condition failed. So let me simply run this program, and you can clearly see it has displayed the output as condition passed. So what if I change the value to 2? So if I change the value to 2, it's going to simply say the conditions failed. This is the basics of an if-else ladder. Sorry, if-else. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the if-else ladder. The if-else ladder consists of else-if statement, which is going to provide you multiple statements to check with, and then execute the block of code which you need. So let us just construct a simple program using an if-else ladder to find like what's whether you are ready to vote or not. So yeah, let's go. Let me just simply initialize and value of an age. So you can use the age as anything. Next thing is I'm gonna just provide you. I'm gonna declare a variable result. Val result LT. As I said before, a variable is in box where you can store stuff. So here I'm going to store the result of an if statement. So I'm going to say if condition age is less than 90, it's going to just simply print as you are null. And in the next statement, I'm going to use else. So if the first condition is not met, it's going to check the second condition. So in that second condition, I'm going to use age should be less than 12, so greater than 12, and age should be less than 20. So if this condition of the variable meets, and then it's going to execute this block of code, it's just going to display the word team. And the third statement. So we have already given 2 statements. So if the 2 statements already failed, it's going to directly come to the else block. That is the last block. So you can declare else. As you know, else does not need a condition to work. It just needs basic keyword. And then inside the thing, I'm going to just say minor. So this is the basic app. So if I run, oh sorry, I didn't print the result out, right? So let me just print it out. The age group of the person is, so it's going to, I'm going to put the plus operator and then print out the result. So it can easily say the age group of the person is an adult. So what if I change an age to somewhere mid 30? So if I change, it's going to say teen. If I change it to 12, it's going to say minor. So this is the basics of an if-else ladder. So yeah, and also so see, if-else ladder takes a lot of code to be written. So there is a simple method or or a day to do this, and that is where a when statement comes in place. So the when statement is basically a switch case. If you know other languages like C and in Java, you would have heard about switch case, which is going to provide you a bunch of conditions. So if the value meets the condition, it's going to provide the code. It's going to run the code which is specific to that condition. So let me just declare a day, a variable day. This is going to be an integer, and the value of the integer should be 2. So I'm going to declare another variable result, and I'm going to use the when keyword and when day. See, this variable is going to be mapped to the when statement. So this will be the condition of the when. So the when takes a value of day. So here when takes the value of 2. So let me just simply show you how to declare inside the when statement. So the first one is the variable, sorry, is the condition what you need. So I have to put the 1. When the value of the day is 1, it's gonna print as Monday. And the value of 2, when the value of the day is 2, it's gonna print, sorry, I have to declare a string, and it's gonna be Tuesday. Run. Okay, you have to put the else condition. It's gonna say invalid. It's gonna run. I didn't print it. Okay. Print the variable result. It's going to say Tuesday. So when the value changes from 1, it's going to say Monday. So it's going to check what is the value of the variable, and then if the value corresponds to this code, and it's going to print this line of code. So that's as simple as that, the when statement. So next thing we go is a for loop. So as you know, yeah, this is a for loop. A for loop is a control flow statement for specifying iteration. So if you ask what is iteration, it's the repeating of code. Like you can repeat the code any number of times. So that's why a for loop is basically used. So in Kotlin, the syntax is also pretty simple. Inside, it is very close to if or else control flow statements. So what you do is declare the keyword, and then you put the condition for it. So here I'm going to just say an item. So this is a variable actually in 1:5. So if you're wondering what is in and what is this 1:5, it's just a inbuilt thing in Kotlin. So if you declare a variable inside, in states for inside is 1:5, it's going to provide you a variable. So this is the thing to this is the syntax for declaring a range. So it's going to be the starting number, then double dot the ending number. So this is going to provide you with the range. So let me just quickly print out. Yeah, let me just inside the for loop. As you know, we have to write the block of code which need to be executed inside the curly braces. So I'm going to just say print ln, and then I'm going to print the variable item. So which is going to be, it's going to store the value on every iteration. So if I print, I'm going to get a range of numbers. So see, I told you, right, this is the statement for range. So if you give the starting number, double full stop, and then the ending number, the item for every iteration in the for loop, it's going to take a value. So the first iteration, the item takes the value of 1, and inside the for loop, it's going to print 1, and the next, the value of the item changes into 2, and it's going to print 2. This is how a basic for loop works in any programming language, and this is the syntax specifically for the Kotlin. So yeah, the next stuff, loop. So the next loop you are going to learn is the while loop. So while loop is also similar to for loop, and let me show you. Yeah, while loops is the loop which executes a block of code as long as the specified condition is true. So what you declare inside this inside the brackets, if the value is true, it's going to keep on executing the same block of code. It's the block of code stops to be executing only when the condition is false. So this is the basic of a while statement in any programming language, and I'm going to just do a very simple program here. So yeah, let's declare a variable I of integer type which has an value of 5. Okay. Here 5. So I'm going to provide the keyword which is the while, and then inside the brackets I'm going to just simply say the condition. So while I is greater than 0, so if I is greater than 0, it's going to execute the block of code which is defined inside the braces. So I'm going to say print ln, and then I'm going to print the value of I. And then in order to see, if you do not properly specify the condition inside the while loop, it's going to repeat itself and it's going to provide you error. So the while loop should end at any point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the value of I every time the loop goes through. So what you do basically is provide this syntax. But as you know, every programming language has an operator set which you can use, which you can simply declare I minus minus. So let me just run it. Yeah, see, now it's in the first loop, it's going to take the I is going to take the value of 5, and it's going to check the condition whether I is greater than 0. It's going to print the statements inside of the while loop, and then it's going to decrement the value of I by 4, and then it's going to again check the condition whether I is less than 0. When I is less than 0, less than 0, it's going to stop the while statement. So we have printed only 1 until 1. So yeah, this is the basics of a while loop. And another type of loop we have is a do while loop. So yeah, the do while loop is similar to the while loop with the difference that the loop will execute the code of block once before checking the condition is true, and then it will repeat the loop as long as the condition is true. So when you take while loop, it's going to first check the condition and do the code. But in do while loop, it's going to first do the work, that is do the block of code that you have defined, and then check the condition. So this the process of checking the condition varies with the do and do while loop. So let me also simply do that. So yeah, sorry, I'm gonna again simply declare a variable I. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then the syntax of do while loop is first is the do keyword, and then what you want to do, the block of code which you want to do. So I'm going to print I basically, and then again do the same step as you do as the while loop. And at the end of do, you have to put the while keyword, and you are going to provide the condition for it. So yeah, greater than 0. So the previous while loop has been modified to do while loop. So let us see what will be the output for this. As you can see, there is no change, but in certain programs, there's definitely going to be a change as it compiles the program first and then checks the condition. So it's going to be a huge difference. So that's why we use do and do while loop separately. So yeah, Another thing I want to tell is about two important statements which is used in Kotlin as well as any programming language in the chart. That is break statement and then continue statement. So if you declare a break statement inside the block of code, it's going to stop the loop for one set for all. It's not going to execute once after it. So that's the importance of a break keyword. So let me just quickly give you an example. I'm going to just change this value to 0, and then I'm going to simply pass and while loop where it checks the condition that it's going to first increment the value of I, and then if the value of I is less than 10, it's going to proceed to this code which is going to execute. So I'm going to do print ln, then it's going to just print the value of I. So now what I'm going to do is provide an if statement inside it. So if the statement I is equal to 3, that is, like, if the value of I reaches 3, it's going to run this specific block of code which just says to break the loop. So if I run it, it's not going to print the entire values of 10. It's going to print only till 3. So if I change the value to 5, it's going to print till 5. So that's the basic logic behind the break statement. And similar to the break statement, there is also a continue statement. So the Kotlin continued statement breaks the loop iteration. So in break statement, it's gonna terminate the loop, but in the continue statement, it just skips the current iteration of the loop. So let me just explain in the compiler. So yeah, in the same code, if I is not equal to 3, it's gonna print the value of I. The value of I. So yeah. And then in the else block, I'm going to say continue. See, this is the thing of continue statement. So let me explain. So here we have an if statement which is going to check the condition for I which is not equal to 3. So if the I is not equal to 3, it's going to print this statement. Else, if I is equal to 3, it's going to forward it to this statement which just simply says continue. So when I is equal to 3, it does not print this statement, instead continues. So what it does is that it just skips the current iteration. That is, the third iteration is skipped entirely in this print part. So see this output, you can see there is no 3 present in the output. So if you can cross verify it. If you can change the value to 5, the loop when 5 occurs, the loop does not execute, but other loops execute. Whereas in break statement, it just terminates the whole loop. So that's the difference between break and the continue statement. So yeah. 1 minute. So yeah. So let us go to the functions. So as I said, Kotlin is based on functions. So every program contains functions. So you may simply ask, what is a function? So a function is pretty simple to explain. A function is a block of code which is written to perform a particular task. So the function is just simply a task. So let me just define, simply say a function is to print. A print is a function. So it's going to print the values given to it. Let me say other examples for it. So if you want to add two numbers, you can just provide a function which can automatically add two numbers. So yeah, let me just do that. Yeah, I'm going to declare a function add. So the basic syntax for declaring a function is using the keyword fun and then saying the name and then brackets. Inside the brackets, you can actually say inside the brackets you provide parameters. So to do any task, as you know, you need to provide an input. For a function, an input is given in form of what to say. It's provided in form of parameters. So you have to declare the parameters here, int a, and no, I'm going to just say int. This is the basic syntax, and it's going to take b. So this is the basic. So the function add, what is going to do is take these two inputs, that is a and then b, and then what it does, this prints the, it's going to add the value. So I'm going to the var result, just declare a variable, so int, which is going to be the addition of a and b. And I'm going to print it. So as I said earlier, the stuff inside the function, inside the main function only executes, not others. This is a block of code which is just separate from the main function. If I run something, it will not show any result because it is not inside the main block. So what you need to do, you have to do it in the main block. So let me show you how to do it. So the first thing is you have to get two variables. Like I'm going to just say a, which is an integer, and it's going to take the value of 6. And second one is variable b. It is also an integer. It's going to take the value of 10. So what I'm going to do is call the function add. So what I'm going to do is add a comma b. See, it's going to simply print the function. So this is the basics of user-defined functions. Let me just repeat it. So functions are stuff, code which you want to run. Like it performs a specific task. So in this function, which I have declared, I have specified the task name as add, which just adds two numbers. So when you need to add two numbers, you need inputs, right? So you pass an input to the function via parameters, via names called parameters, which will be given inside the brackets. So I have given two parameters here, that is a and then b. And then I have taken these two parameters are inputs, right? So they can be used inside the code block of the function. So what I have did is just taken these two variables and store it in a separate variable, and just simply print the result out of it. So this is the basic function of this user-defined function add, which I have defined. So if I did not put this statement, that is, if I did not call the method here or the function here, it's not going to show anything. See, because anything inside the main function only executes and other stuff do not execute. So if you want to execute functions which are outside the main function, you need to declare them. So another thing to note here is you have declared this function and have two parameters, right? You should not change the parameter. You should compulsorily provide the parameters. If it's not, then you are going to get error. So let me just change. Let me not give one parameter. It's going to give us an error. See, no value is passed for e. Like that is the problem is if you do not give the input, how it's going to do the task. So I'm going to give two inputs and it's going to do the task for me. So that's the basics of user-defined function here. So yeah, there is also built-in functions, right? Like I have defined a function, but Kotlin and other programming languages comes with a set of functions which is built-in for which the code has been already written. So like the simple example is the print statement, and there are many such examples to be seen. So this is the basics that I have covered in Kotlin. So today that's the session for you. So at the start of the session, I also told that I'm going to sharing you a way to learn Android development from the course, from the curriculum provided by Google. So this will be very helpful for your career, and it's going to help you a lot in your resume if you want to be an Android developer or some sort of like that. So the first thing we're going to do is head on to Google developer profile. You got to create a Google developer profile through which you are going to show that you are going to learn the course provided by the Google. So to start that, you need to visit this website. I will be providing the links in the chat. You can refer that. Go to that link and then register yourself. So you're gonna provided you with an Google developer profile where you can collect batches, and it's gonna show you what you have learned from Google, and it's gonna tell your recruiters that you have knowledge in this stuff. So it's pretty useful. So the second stuff you have to do is, see, this is the thing for Google developer profile. So the next thing you have to do to get the badges and certificate from Google is to hop onto this link, which will be also provided in the chat right now, where you can go and then learn this course. Once you have created your developer profile, you can access these access this course, which is directly provided from Google. So this is a pretty valuable course. So this course actually contains 6 units, which gonna cover from Kotlin basics to all the stuff you need to know to publish a basic app in the Play Store. This course is pretty useful for anyone who wants to become an Android developer, and this is also from Google, so it is a very valid course, to be honest. And then the third thing is that this course also has an certification, that is very certified certification. But this certification you have to pay for it and take the exam in order to get certified. If not, you can just simply get the 16 batches and show them in your developer profile. So yeah, in that course you will get 6 units. That 6 units will be comprised of 16 pathways. Like if you ask what is pathway, I will show you now. So after this slide, so these there will be pathways, and at the end of each pathway there will be a quiz that you have to attend. So if you pass that quiz, you're going to get a badges like that. Like every single quiz you attend, you get a badge, which is directly adds to your developer profile, which you can later share them on LinkedIn and other stuff, and put it on your resume, do whatever you want. So that's the useful stuff of a developer profile. So Google is also providing their official certificate of completion of this course, which is unlikely that AAD certification, which is completely free. So what you need to do is just simply complete this course right now. Like you can take time anywhere before January 10th. You can complete this course, and if you complete the course, your developer profile going to get 16 new batches. So what you're going to do is take the screenshot of the 16 batches you have, and then send to the email to my email address. You're going to get a Google certification of completion, which will be also helpful to add it in your resume and other stuff. So that's it for now. So let me just quickly show you how to create Google developer stuff. So yeah, Google developer profile. So yeah, wait a minute. One second. Chat. Just copy this link and then paste it in the browser, then hit enter. It's going to take you to this page, and in this page fill your details and then click on next. After you have filled your profile and created a developer profile at googledevelopers.com, you can actually head on to the course via this link. Yeah, I'm going to just open here. So it's going to open this course for you. Yeah, see, this is the course which is provided by Google. So you can see that there are badges that you can earn. So if you earn all the 16 badges, you're going to get a certification of completion from Google, and then all these 16 badges will be showed in your developer profile. If you go inside, as I told before, there are 16 pathways, right? So inside each unit, you're going to get each pathway. You can go to each pathway, and there is going to be videos and code labs to help you learn. And then finally, you have to take the quiz, which if you get all of them right, you're going to get the badge and the completion. So what I want you guys to do is to complete this course before January 10th, and send me your profile, like developer profile, to me, and Google will send you the certification of complete. So yeah, that's it for this session, guys. Thank you.
Can leave.
Students answer before leaving, please fill the feedback. Then leave. We request you to fill your form and leave. So thank you. Conviction of this.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you, students.